What is going on, everybody? Michael here, and we are back with another episode of Beyond the Deal with Mr. Ben Allgaier. Ben, what is cracking today?
Oh, it's been a busy day.
Busy
Very busy
good?
day. Yeah, sure. Trying to get the system set up, some AI stuff figured out, the normal stuff that we deal with as real estate investors in 2026.
Yeah, it's tough whenever I ask Ben, like, how are we doing today? Because, we're on different parts of the sides of the business for the most part. I do mostly acquisitions. Ben is mostly on the disposition side. I'll ask Ben how we're doing. He goes, we're having fun. And that's like our new internal joke. Sometimes it's sarcastic, but we have the positive outlook.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be a couple deals falling through, but we're having fun. There's always a solution on the
They're
other
not
end,
falling through, they're just taking longer than we anticipated.
just taking longer than anticipated. Roadblocks are to be expected in this business.
Welcome to real estate.
Welcome to real estate indeed. But today we are talking about AI, and not in a buzzwordy type of way, but in like a real hands-on how we're using AI in our business, and then really just our outlook on how AI is going to be changing the real estate industry and how us as investors can change with it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on right now from everything that I'm seeing in the industry and that we're seeing on our side of things, especially with our CRM. We got callers, we got texters, we got AI that'll review transcripts from other AI and calls from other AI. Like this, it's getting out of control,
Hmm.
which is good if you're on the front end of it, but I don't think it's going to last very long, especially when you're dealing with homeowners. A lot of these people, Mike, that we talk to on a daily basis, maybe able to get some information out of them from AI and be able to understand a little bit about the deal. But I think, you know, as AI becomes commoditized in the business, people are going to get burnt out from continuing to talk to bots and they're going to want to talk to people.
Yeah. As someone who comes, obviously, my background is mostly sales, among other different things that I've done, but all of which include sales. When I first heard that we were implementing AI into the business, I had mixed reactions, right? Because like on one side, making my job easier from an information standpoint. I can be a lot more efficient because AI is getting information. But the other side of me was like, do people really want to talk to an AI? Especially in the real estate game where there's so many people reaching out to homeowners. My edge was always building rapport and building a connection with homeowners. And so it's a very fine line. Or I'm curious how you view that line of like, this is going to help us be more efficient, but we also can't lose the personal touch.
Yeah, I think that's where the best in the business are still going to win. The people that can build the rapport, it's going to be even more important because think about the new guys that are getting into the business and they're going to rely heavily on AI to do most of their job. They're not getting those reps with building rapport. They're having a bot do most of the work for them and then jumping back on the call and giving them an offer.
Hmm.
I still personally don't think that that's how transactions are going to be done. I think there's going to be some regulations that come down on AI, especially AI texting. The calling may take a little bit longer, but this may turn into, you know, we get a year in, people start complaining that they're getting blown up about the house that they have for sale or the house that they don't even have for sale. And the the bottleneck right now for real estate investors is I either got to find a VA or I got to call them myself. With AI, what you could do in a week with a human, you can do in a couple hours with AI
Hmm.
as far as calling. So if these homeowners just start to get bombarded with AI call after AI call after AI call, there's going to have to be some regulation, and it may just flip it all the way back to where we started, where I started in the business, which was, you're making the calls yourself. Even VAs weren't really a thing back then.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah, like many things, it's a pendulum, right? It started, everything had to be manual. Now then it went to VAs. Now we're slowly the pendulum swinging to a point where everything could be done by AI, like with AI. Like we talked about this obviously a little bit ago. Like from lead coming in to information gathering, I mean, you still need a person to make the offer. If hypothetically an AI could make an offer, but I don't know. I haven't seen it from my experience that it would actually convert. But my point is that the pendulum swinging, you're 100% right. I think it might work really well for a year, if that. But when everybody starts to do it, you know the pendulum's going to swing back, which I'm all right with. Obviously, it brings new challenges because AI is increasing capacity for conversations. And so that'll, when it swings back, inevitably, that will be the next bottleneck, next challenge to solve is like, all right, well, how do we keep up the same efficiency with human to human conversations? And I think that's where the line will be found eventually of like, all right, this is the sweet spot for AI of what it can do. This is where we need the human connection. And unfortunately, a lot of things, sometimes you have to cross that line. If like, all right, this is, we overstepped it here. We're getting a lot of negative responses. Let's tone it back. This is the sweet spot.
Yeah, because you can eventually see how, you know, once this stuff becomes super cheap, people are going to cut down on their cost of acquisition. So they're going to be able to get more aggressive with their offers because their acquisition cost has gone down, meaning their margin to keep the same margin, they don't have to pay, they can pay more for the house.
Mm.
So when that pendulum goes back this way, homeowners are going to have to decide, am I okay having a conversation and dealing with AI if somebody can pay more? Or do I really want that human touch?
Yeah. And that's why I'm thankful that we've done a good job of keeping our business pretty lean. We like to keep overhead as low as possible. And so that definitely gives us an edge. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about how we're rolling out our AI usage. Obviously, we've been using AI for over a year now in different aspects of the business of like call reviews, different infrastructure just to make our internal process, our operational drag more efficient. But obviously now we're actually letting homeowners talk to the AI and vice versa. So yeah, I can speak to a little bit about our plan as we roll this technology out.
Yeah. So obviously we'll have the texting taken care of by AI. Most of what we do is outbound leads, or sorry, inbound leads. These are people that are raising their hand saying, I want to sell my house. So we have the AI reach out to them because we have their consent to reach out to them. Which I think, people that are doing strictly outbound, it's going to be a problem. You're going to get to a point where, they're going to shut that down, where you cannot do outbound texting unless you have the homeowner's approval or the person's approval, and then it's just going to go straight back to the phones. But since we're doing a ton of inbound, they've given us permission to speak to them and to reach out. So we've got the AI pumping messages daily to them. Then we also have a bot that calls as soon as a lead comes into our system. So could be 2 in the morning when a lead comes in. This is back to speed to lead, right? A lot of the times, if somebody fills out a form at 2 a.m. and it comes into the system, we don't talk to them until 8 hours later. They may have talked to multiple people by then. We want to be the first ones to talk to them. So if we have a bot that can call them and say, hey, listen, this is not a person. Obviously, we don't have a team that's working at 2 a.m. However, we try to get to people as quickly as possible. The next person that you're going to talk to is a human being. I'm just here to gather some information so that I can get you an answer and I can get you an offer as quick as possible. So that's how we're going to utilize it. It is not going to be making offers for us. It is not going to be thinking through the strategy of the deals for us. That's where people are going to have an advantage. The investors who know how to be creative, who know how to solve problems, who know how to think. AI is not going to think for you. And a lot of people think that that's how this is going to go is, you have the AI grab all of the information about the house, you have it comp deals for it, or you have it comp the property for you, you have it put the offers together, and then you have it just send it right back to XYZ homeowner. That's not going to work. I mean, as far as I can see, I don't see how that works. There's always a nuance to every single deal that we do. AI you couldn't possibly give it enough information to be able to figure out all of the nuances of a deal to be able to call somebody back and say, hey, this is what we can offer you for your house.
Hmm. Yeah. it's not like you're replacing your brain, right? Like you said, there's still going to be an aspect of creativity and problem solving that every deal brings. I think, like you all touched on, speed to lead is, of course, the most important part. Like, bar none, the fact that we can get to a lead right away, no matter what time it is, no matter if we're on other calls, the fact that I can make that first touch point is going to be and is massive. Obviously, there's nuance there, right? Like we're still stress testing the responses because we want it to sound as human as possible, which again, having the knowledge in the background, if you're a newbie, you can use AI, but you don't know what a good response is, right? You need to know how to prompt these things. And so, yeah, there's a whole bunch of different rabbit holes, but don't get it twisted. While it's going to be, it's going to massively shift the industry, the creativity, the knowledge, and the experience is still going to be absolutely vital to do deals at scale.
I think that's with damn near any industry, right? If you
Yeah.
don't know how to prompt this stuff, it ain't going to work.
Yeah, it's only as good as the output is only as good as the input that you're giving it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where people get jaded on this. But I mean, I can see this playing out for our community, like the people in our community in this way. They input the leads or they have the leads sent into their CRM. The AI reaches out to them, gets all the vital information about the property. They then pass that over to us as a JV partner to be able to get this thing closed under contract, transaction coordination, find a buyer, get the thing closed. I can see people inside of our community never having to talk to a homeowner. They're just paying for software and they're inputting leads.
Really crazy. Yeah, if you're a beginner watching this, you need to find people to JV with. I mean, if you're watching this, you probably found them right here. But for that exact reason, I mean, I think that the earn while you learn model that comes with JV that's so unique compared to other businesses that I've done is like it is one of a kind. And in like with this AI stuff, just the whole entire process that you just explained is pretty mind blowing. That you can just pay for the tech, pay for some inbound leads, and then just not have to do anything. Like it
Collect a
is,
check for 10, 15, $20,000 a month later.
yeah. Now, of course, the goal for those people, for our students and anybody watching this, if you have somebody that you're JVing with, is to learn the process, like we're talking about, to have the knowledge, have the skills to be able to do the entire transaction at once. But it's like I said, it's tough to beat the earn while you learn model where you can be doing deals, making money, and then watching with your own eyes how the process is actually breaking down.
Which leads to what we did yesterday. To show how the process actually works, we built an entire dashboard that JV students can see that goes through the steps of the deal, and you can log into the portal and see your deal, where it's at in the process. There's notes on there, and it just takes you step by step by step. So you can learn that whole process without having to do it.
As you say, like a Chipotle order.
Like a Chipotle.
But it is pretty, we won't show the platform on this right now, but it is pretty sick. Like you submit the deal and you're just getting a live look at where the deal is in the pipeline. Let me ask you
Built,
this. We
built
talked,
by AI.
yes, whatever you do. We talked about it, but I want you to expand on it. If, let's say in a year, every wholesaler, every real estate investor has AI outside of the pendulum, like what's next? Like what is the edge? Like down to the nitty gritty, what is the edge?
It's a good question. And I think, I mean, this business has been done the same way with minor tweaks, like novations have become a new thing, and sub two wasn't always around. There's always a different strategy that somehow finds its way, but the strategies are more created because of um, regulations that come down. So wholesaling is being outlawed in some states.
Mm.
Novations can replace that, and double closes can replace that, which somebody figured out however long ago. And sub two is another creative way to do deals, and owner financing. Though the owner financing thing's been around for a while, but these strategies are going to continue to evolve as regulations come down. For investors, though, to get deals, yeah, everybody's going to be texting via AI. Everybody's going to be calling via AI. It's all about how you can stand out and add value to the homeowner outside of the noise of everybody else.
Hmm.
That's how deals have been done since the beginning of real estate. Who adds the most value? Who can get the most eyeballs because they add the most value? If you can figure out how to creatively position yourself to add more value than everybody else, you're going to still get deals.
Okay. What if I devil's advocate you and say, can AI help you or anybody get creative to help the homeowner?
For sure. 100%. And I think that's the thing though. If you don't know how to prompt it because you don't have the information basis for real estate or what people want because you've had hundreds and hundreds of conversations, you're not going to know what to put into the AI to even say, "Hey, we need to get creative here and add more value than everybody else in this space." You can't sure you can plug that in and see if it comes up with something, but I guarantee you the people that have been doing this for a while, the people that, have decades of experience in the real estate investment world are going to prompt that 10 times better than the newbies will.
Hmm.
And it will just continue to evolve. You know, like when Bomb came out, for example, people were able to send a video to a homeowner to say, "Hey, listen, I know we just talked on the phone. I wanted you to be able to put a face to a name. Here's this is me. I'm Ben. Just wanted to say hi. Just so you can stick that face to the name, save me in your phone. We'll talk to you soon." That was huge. So I came up with that, used it. The early adopters probably saw an exponential increase in the number of deals that they did, and then it became mainstream. So if you're the one that's creating the stuff that is on the, precipice of innovation in the industry, you're going to be the one that continues to stay ahead of the curve. While everybody else is behind you trying to catch up to what you're doing, if you can be creative enough and you can be innovative enough to make those changes and to be the one that comes up with those changes, that's how you're going to stay ahead.
Yeah, totally. It's like what I had told the community on our coaching call, I think on Tuesday. We had our CRM, the founder of the CRM that we use and we recommend come on and just kind of show them how to use the agents, the process, the whole nine. And what stuck out to me was when it came to the prompting and also even just the general workflows, the automations that we sent to homeowners.
Mhm.
Like exactly what you said. Like there's things that work, that have proven to work. And you need to have that foundation of like what works. From there, then you can do those creative things and like really step outside the box and test. So you can be that pioneer who makes a crap ton of money in the beginning until everybody else catches on. So it's like step one is understand the foundations, understand the basics of it, and then like let your creative brain go. Like we've been entrepreneurs our entire lives. And so that's like second nature to us. Like, all right, this is working. How can we innovate and make it better and see if it sticks? Because a lot of times it doesn't stick. Like we throw crap
Mhm.
at the wall all the
Yep.
time that does not stick. But the things that do stick wind up making us a lot of money. And so I just encourage people to go out and like step out into the water a little bit and like just try things. It could be something as simple as messaging, right? Like just go for it. And one example for us is obviously we lead more with education now. And it's like we have training videos for homeowners. Like it's not completely new. And then we've innovated just the way that we communicate that, but just go for it. Like as we say, you just do things. I know
Yeah.
that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. You just do things and you will reap the reward because you're the one doing it. You have the control.
Yep. I mean, it's what we did back in the day with foreclosures. There were three companies that were doing foreclosures. We were one of the early adopters of going and knocking on doors. We were bringing in over $200,000 a month net just because we were the early adopters. Now, in our market, there's 35 companies that do foreclosures, driving around knocking on doors. They're all competing over the same leads. That's 3 years later, after the flood had already happened, and we made boatloads of cash because we were one of the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
The same thing with where we're at with AI. There's a lot of companies that have no idea how to do AI, where to go for AI, can afford to pay for AI, but we have figured it out. We've been on the front of this for a very long time. We're going to make a boatload of money because we're in the beginning of this. And then everybody will get AI and we'll go and do something different.
Yeah, and that last part, we'll go doing something. We'll go do something different. I already know that when you told the first half of that story of like we were doing foreclosures, made a boatload of money, then other people started doing it. A normal person who hasn't been in this space for a while thinks, "Oh, well, that sucks." Like, yeah, it's great. It worked for a year or two, but like then everyone came in. But the catch is that while other people are just adopting what you were doing before, you're already moving on to the next thing. You're still doing things that work, but you're just continuing to innovate. And because you did what works and you like saw it, your brain identified, all right, this worked. The next time you innovate, the likelihood that you do something that sticks is going to increase because your brain, your body, just like you've done it. You identify it's like the blue car, like you see the blue car everywhere once you get that kind of car. So, I mean, the AI is a great example of that. Granted, it's a little bit newer. There was a little bit of gap in between, but people caught onto the foreclosures. We were on to the next thing. And so there is a fear that can come with that. I think the human brain is sometimes just defaults to fear, right? Looks for what's wrong. It's like, is
Yep.
this going to work? But if you could just overcome that and just go for it, the upside, I'm very big on like, what's the upside? What's the downside?
Mhm.
It's pretty clear, the delta.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what it's going to do too is it's going to allow people who real estate for a long time has been an exclusive club. People who, had money or their parents had money or they learned it early on and they got into the right groups. It was an exclusive club to be able to be a real estate investor for a very long time. That's going away. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. Most of the places that I go, I am not the smartest person in the room. And I'm okay with that. I love that, being able to learn from all these other people. But, you know, having coming from nothing, like there are people in our community that have come from just nothing and they're able to get into this business and do deals and make money, make life-changing money because that barrier of entry is dropping. And with AI, it's going to drop even further down where you don't have to know everything to be able to do this. You just got to have the right people around you, which has been true for forever, but that learning curve is going to move so much faster where it's not going to take forever to figure out how to do this, especially with like what we just talked about, where you don't have to have a freaking conversation with a human being and you can still do deals because you have JV partners who can do the rest of the deals for you and you can learn the entire way. This wasn't a thing before AI. Somebody had to talk to the homeowner and get the information.
Yeah, it's funny. The principles are still relatively the same. Like you need to have knowledge. You need to be surrounded by people who are smart and know what they're doing. And of course, you need a little bit of willpower. When I say a little bit, probably need a lot. You need a lot of willpower. But it's the same thing with AI coming into the landscape. None of that changes outside of the speed at which things are changing. Because, yeah, obviously, this technology in general just changes at a very, what's the word? When the bell curve goes up, whatever. It changes fast.
Exponential. Exponential.
Exponential, yes. And AI is like past technology on steroids, where it's going to continually just exponentially grow. But you just got to have those core things, and you'll be all right.
Agreed. Well, we've gone over a lot. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the gist of AI in real estate where we see it right now. Get creative, figure out ways to set yourself apart, use it. Obviously, don't go and spend boatloads of money to companies that you haven't researched. We see this stuff all the time coming out online. I had a guy call me the other day that said, "Hey man, I'm looking at this new AI technology for pulling foreclosure leads that get to the deals. prior to them going into foreclosure, it somehow knows when people are behind on their payments, which is not public data, but it somehow can go into the mortgage records using AI and figure out who's behind on payments. And I stopped him. I go, that's bullshit. That's not a thing. Those mortgage records are not public information. That's not a thing. You may be able to predict based on the income of the person, and I mean maybe, but don't fall victim to these scammers online that are selling you the best and the greatest because they feel like they have to get a product out there because they don't want to miss the AI boom that's going to make boatloads and whatever millionaires. More millionaires than the internet ever made in the first 20 years. AI is going to make in the first 2 years or
Yeah.
whatever people are saying out there. Like that's not you got to be able to cipher through the stuff that's legitimate and the stuff that's bullshit.
No, it's a good point. It actually makes me think. I'll give a take, and you tell me if you agree or not. Obviously, we talked about how people can not have to have a conversation and do deals with proper JV partners. If you're a complete beginner, I feel like for the most part, a lot of the AI stuff, and I would say that you almost shouldn't be using it if you don't have partners. Like if you're a complete beginner, your first go in real estate, you can still, and you probably should just pick up the phone and start calling homeowners
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And AI actually probably gives beginners even a slight edge as like counterintuitive to this entire conversation. But if you are just being a human being and you're having that conversation and you're willing to just put in enough work, then there's opportunity there because there are going to be people who just want to talk to a human the whole time. And
Yep.
that's where you can slide in and take advantage of that.
Yep. And not to plug one of our partners, but I'm going to plug one of our partners, DealMachine, on their system. You can call through their system. The AI will listen to your conversation and prompt you on what to say next if you get stuck.
Hmm.
Based on thousands and thousands of conversations that their AI has learned, while you're on the phone with the homeowner, it will pop up on the screen and say, ask this next.
Hmm.
So
That's
you can
interesting.
learn what to say while you're going through the process of talking to people.
It's a nice in between. You're still using AI, but you're not losing the human connection.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm going to ask John if he can build that in a Pete.
yeah, that would be it's actually a great idea. Yeah.
Sick.
But it seems like a good place to end it.
Agreed.
If you are somebody who wants JV partners who have been doing this a while, who have one of the best beards in Kansas City, then follow Ben on Instagram, the Ben Allgaier. We'll probably have a link in the bio. And let's chat. As you can tell, we do this. We do it every day. And we're having fun.
We are having fun.
We're having fun. So until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.